Good. Hello, I'm Josh Pomerleau, joined by the one and only Matt Healy. Where this is the Teaming Up Show, and where we do this video show to bring you with us, right? So you can come on the journey, learn how to build a team, because we've done it. We've been a team for 11 years, and Matt has actually been on the team for about 5.
Yeah, 4 or 5 years.
So let's get right into it. So when would I hire my first buyer's agent? Matt Healy.
Well, Josh, I could put the question back on you and say, when did you decide you have to hire your first buyer's agent? But,
good question.
I think, I would give my perspective is that Josh ran into a business point where he knew that to grow the business, he no longer should be working buyers. He should focus on the number one thing that drives a team, which is your listings. So looking at, you had an admin, someone that was taking all your 80% off you, all the paperwork, all your putting the signs in the yard.
We actually had 2 admin, I think. At that time.
Yep.
So even another step, which you're going to talk about a little bit later.
And you worked buyers up to the very end, but you were kind of turning them away, or you weren't following up with the buyer leads at a high level.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Well, we had to make the decision, and that's where you're going to go with this, is that where do you want your business? What do you want your business to look like? Because if you're looking to do a lot of business, you're going to need to jump into the listings as fast as you possibly can. To do that, you make it that your one thing that you're going to go after, you're going to probably have to say no to buyers, or you're going to burn out. And I didn't want to look at it. I saw it really clearly that if I went and did one more buyer, I was going to lose 4 more listings, because I wasn't going to have the physical ability to handle this many buyers and go get more listings.
Well, you knew to prioritize the listings over the buyers, to follow up the listing leads first before you do the buyer side.
Which I think is hard for a lot of people.
Very hard, because buyer side is a little, it's on the easier side.
Right.
It's not as hard
for most people.
Yeah, you don't need the scripts as much. It's more forgiving than the listing side. So
it's easy. It's income that comes right in the door right away. You close 2 or 3 buyers right away, in 1 month, and all of a sudden you have some more income right away, right? So you're basically, if you're going after a listing, that process is a lot longer. So, you're saying, well, I'll make more money, but it's going to be in 6 months versus 1 month, right?
So get back to the question, when do you hire your first buyer's agent? And I guess I would say, when you've hit a point in your business where you want to grow, you can't do any more buyers and sellers at the same time. You have admin support, and now you have
admin support.
Yes, that's a big one.
That's what I'd really like to say, is because if you don't have admin support and you just throw a bunch of buyers, a bunch of sales agents together, there's going to be no systems, and you're going to be losing money in that scenario.
Yeah, don't make the mistake of hiring your buyer's agent first because you don't want to work with buyers. Make the right choice. Look at an admin. Get someone to take all your 80% away from you, so you can focus on the highest dollar activity, which is getting more listings. So jumping that, I would say that when you've become a revolving door of listings and you have your admin taken off and you're not following off the buyer leads at a high level, that's at the point in time when you should start looking for a buyer's agent to take over your business on the buy side, meaning following out all the leads at a high level, calling everything. You now focus on nothing but following up with listing leads.
Yep, and that's, of course, we're talking about building a team, and that's why our show is the Teaming Up Show. And so there might be someone at home that says, I want to do 50 transactions. I would probably say at 50 transactions, if I was going to say half and half my business was listings and buyers, well, you're probably not going to be able to have a buyer's agent. But if you're going to stick around that, it's okay never to have a buyer's agent. I know a lot of people that have an admin or 2, and they will do almost all their buyer sides and of course all their listing sides. And when I say almost all their buyer sides, sometimes they'll have their admin show some homes. But when we're talking about building a team, and that's why we're doing this video, is building a big business where you have a lead buyer's agent. We can talk about that in another video, and then have other buyer's agents. But you definitely do that when you have a place where you're getting a lot of listings and you're able to support that listing agent or that buyer's agent. And a lot of people say, well, how many listings is that? Every market's different, so it's really hard to say. I've heard someone say when you have 10 active listings at a time. I would just say when you're just dominating listings, get and you have an admin or two, get that buyer's agent.
And you're
it's going to change your life.
You're seeing massive amounts of Realtor.com or Zillow or whatever your lead sources are coming in from all different avenues. And I guess this brings up another good point that you have good systems in place to track these leads coming in. So you're not hired as a buyer's agent and say, here you go, figure it out.
Right.
You have Top Producer or Boomtown or some other contact management database. And
if you have a great assistant, that assistant is going to be the one who's going to do that. I mean, it's the same thing. I look back, I'm like, how did we get there? How did we all of a sudden just be able to hire a buyer's agent? It's because, and not even looking back, it almost happened accidental, where it was just a natural progression to have an admin. But once you got the right admin, they're going to build out all the systems and make it better. Because if you say you do hire that buyer's agent, that is the best buyer's agent that you could possibly find. You want to make sure you help that person get to that, get to their goals, and the way to do that is you're going to have organized systems behind them. Even though a lot of times there's a lot of disorganization, and we got to get through
it's going to get
times.
messy
For sure. That's going to happen.
It was messy. Yep.
It's going to get messy, and that's where I was going to say we're not perfect, but having that admin, the best one, they're going to make it better, right? So thanks for joining us on the Teaming Up show, and we're going to be doing a couple more. Matt's going to stick around a little bit, and we're going to do a couple more videos on how to build a buyer's team.
Yeah, we hope you found it helpful.
Yep. Thanks.